All right, good morning. It's a new day. Yesterday was a little crazy. I do have to say though, all in all, I think people made, the people I talked to made that section, going over the presidentials out to be much worse than it was. It was frustrating because nothing but boulders and just took forever. But it really wasn't all that hard. I mean, it was hard, but it wasn't like the hardest thing I've done out here for sure. So anyway, today, not sure exactly what to expect. I've got to do around 16 or maybe 17 miles to get to the next tent site area, or I can find a place to stealth camp somewhere, hopefully. I am going over the Wildcat Mountains today, and I think there are like maybe 3 or more different peaks that are a part of that. And people talk about it like it's hard, This whole area is hard, but I've actually heard a lot of people say that it's harder than the presidential section. So, we're just gonna have to see. Certainly don't expect it to be an easy day. As you've heard me say quite a few times lately, I'm getting a late start. I mean, it's almost 8 o'clock and I only started 20 minutes ago or something. I just woke up at 4:30 with the birds today, and man, I was just, mostly it was because I was cold and I was up, didn't get to bed at a decent time at all last night because it just took so long to get set up in camp because of the rain and the cold. And so by the time I finally got to sleep, I think it was 10 o'clock or something. I could not get up at 4:30. So anyway, that probably means for a really long day today, since I've got all these miles to do in the Wildcat Range. What else? I've got, I'm moving towards Pinkham Notch, which is, there's a road there, and a lot of people get off the trail there and stay at a hostel overnight, and some people did that last night. There's also a place there called Joe Dodge Lodge that is its own kind of private little place and people can stay at and stuff, but a lot of thru hikers, they welcome thru hikers there, and a lot of thru hikers will go there for the all-you-can-eat breakfast, and they have lunch and things like that too. So I'd love to stop, but getting started 2 hours late this morning and having to go an extra couple of miles over, the 15 that I've kind of set as my daily goal here, and having it be through the Wildcats, I think I might stop and drop off some trash or something, but I don't think I'm going to really hang around long. So we'll see what happens with that. But otherwise, it rained all night last night. I thought it was supposed to stop, but anyway, it rained all night until I'd say about 3 this morning, 3 or 4, just right before I really woke up for good. And actually it was enough time that a lot of my stuff, started to dry out. My tent's not soaking wet. Got a lot of my clothes on the outside of my pack today so they can dry out a little bit. And shouldn't be rainy today. That's the forecast that I've heard. No rain. And warmer, meaning probably the high 40s, maybe the 50s. The sun is definitely out, so that's awesome. And I'm hoping it holds out. Look at this. It's Hopper.
Hey, I'm back. Still here.
He was at the tent site I was at last night, and tenting right next to me. I had no idea.
Had a solid 36-hour nap.
Woo! All right. Just after I met Hopper back there, which was really awesome. And really awesome because he and I both were a little bit not in the best mental state, you know, after yesterday. Not like bad, but just, you know, frustrated and like, ugh. And so it was really nice to see him. He's really such a great guy, and we get along so well. Anyway, we just came out of the woods right back there. You know, we've been up in there hiking, and just came across Pinkham Visitor Center here, and stopped in and grabbed a discounted soup. It's one of those things that was on the campsite, you know, coupon that you get. That I think I told you about a few days ago when I camped. Anyway, so then staying on the AT is a little bit weird here. And it was not at all obvious. There were no signs, no marks, no blazes, nothing. So anyway, they told me, come across the road here. There's a boardwalk across the pond. Stay right at the fork that comes up here. And then here we go. And I'll be doing the Wildcats today. And of course, everybody I asked how to get here is telling me. There's the sign, Wildcats. I think you can see it there. Anyway, telling me, oh, Wildcats, they're hard, you know. But, you know, anyway, I doubt it's going to be any harder than what I've already done. It'll probably just be as hard. So, ready to roll. It's like 10:15 or so, which is later than I certainly wanted to start doing this, but I'll be all right. I think I've got, 10 miles or something of really hard, you know, hiking to do up this craziness. And then tent site tonight, and the day's gonna be good. It's like 70, high of 70 down low here, probably a high of 60 up high. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna get warmer tomorrow, but just worried about today right now. All right, here we go. Well, the really hard hiking hasn't started yet, and it kind of dawned on me I wanted to say that, you know, I just feel like even if today's tough, it's going to be a really good day, you know. I had Hopper and I sat together there at the visitor center and had quinoa chili with some awesome, you know, fresh baked bread. And he's taking a day off. He's taking a 0 day there at Pinkham Notch at a hostel. So he's going to be eating some all-you-can-eat stuff and just, you know, having a great time. So that's all he had was just that chili. But I had a bag of chips with it and a Three Musketeers bar and a zucchini chocolate chip muffin and a Dr. Pepper. Oh, and I feel fat, but I feel good. I feel like I'm ready to go, you know. So I think between having some good food, you know, something just different than bars and ramen and oatmeal, and getting to just kind of reset, you know, have some time just chatting with Hopper, just kind of sharing stories about what we've been up to the past week and a half since we saw each other on the trail, and how things have been going, and, you know, our war stories, what our stories of, well, how bad of a fall did you take up there on Mount Washington in those boulders? Oh, let me tell you about when I fell and put my face in a bush, or, you know, went over backwards and thought I broke whatever, and you know, just kind of get you reset. So I feel really good. I feel kind of blessed that, you know, we ran across each other right then, and I think he might be struggling a little bit more than me right now, for really no reason other than, you know, those things just happen. We all have our moments out here where you get a lot of doubts, or you just it becomes hard, and I think he's just in one of those moments. So he'll probably, you know, I think this was really good for him too. He said that, and it's just a fantastic happenstance. And look at that beautiful stream that I get to hike by right now. All right, I got a lot to do today, so bye for now. All right, that's where I was at 30 minutes ago. Very, very steep climb up. Way too steep to video, that's for sure. I just put my sticks away and used my hands and feet. A long, long way to go. I think possibly that might be Mount Washington where I was at yesterday. It's the only place that has a big enough complex on top. I think it's very likely. And I came down and tented halfway down, and then that's where I was an hour and a half ago. Down there eating, enjoying life. Now here I am, punishing myself some more. This has been good though. I feel pretty good today. Hope it holds out. So out here in the White Mountains, there are 48 4,000 foot peaks. I think it's in the Whites is what everybody's talking about. Maybe it goes a little wider than that, but I think it's could be just kind of in New England, but I think it's in the White Mountains. Anyway, so the last several days I've been in here, met up with a whole lot of people who are out doing a day hike or a weekend hike, who are trying to pick off the 48 4,000ers. It's kind of just a thing, you know? Kind of like doing all the 14,000 footers in Colorado and stuff, so in the Rockies. So, anyway, just met a couple of guys back there who are out for the day, trying to pick off another one. I think they're going to Wildcat Peak C. So I'm doing the Wildcats today, and I think there's, I don't know, A, B, C, D, E or something like that. I think I'm going to go over all of them today, or at least a bunch of them, and then a few other peaks as well. So I'll pick off a few more 4,000ers myself. Okay, here we go. Well, I think I might have already passed Wildcat Peak E, and in fact I have, and I'm at Wildcat Peak D because I know there's a gondola and a whole thing here, so cool. Head on to my next few peaks. All right, I'm off to Wildcat C, which is, well, C and then A, which both are higher than where I'm at now, so still going to be a little climbing, but I don't think quite as bad as what's been so far. And then I'll have a big, long descent. And then up to do the Carter peaks. And there's at least 3 pretty high peaks on that ridge. Or maybe this is all part of the same ridge, but anyway. In that, in the Carters. And at least a couple of them have some big descents between them. So anyway, whole bunch more climbing to do today. But I'm doing it all right, you know, just taking it easy and feeling pretty good. There's a decent amount of people out here. It's, you know, the Sunday after 4th of July, so there's still day hikers and just, there's some kids out here. I've ran across a couple that's, well, 2 couples actually individually that are probably about my age. And one of them's kind of just doing a day hike, and one of them is actually, they're finishing up. Today is day 1 for them to finish up the AT. They did, whatever they did, 1,700 some miles in 2018. and had to get off the trail. So they came in today and started down at Pinkham Notch, right there by where I was eating. And this is their first day on the trail to finish up, to head toward Katahdin and finish up. So, man, they have to be feeling it. We were joking about that. What a crazy place to start, but it's where they quit in 2018, so they wanted to pick up there. So anyway, that's the situation. Well, I just went over a peak. So I think it's my second to last peak, so I think that must be the big daddy wildcat peak that I'm heading for today. So then after that it'll be a big descent and then into the Carters. Here we go. All right, I think I'm here. View. I think that's my trail to head off. And let's get over here. Now I don't know 100% whether this is the end of the wildcats or, one of the middle peaks, because none of them have been labeled in any way, except I'm pretty sure from what I've been doing that this is my last one, but I've been wrong 1,000 times before. Oh wow, very nice. Okay, I'm gonna sit up here a while and relax. I have not stopped to take a break since I left Pinkham Notch. I definitely need a break. Well, one thing I didn't tell you about yet is my shoes. So here in 2 days, I'm getting a new pair of shoes. They'll come in my box that I've sent. And if you look real closely there, you can see when I move my foot, that is my sock. This shoe is blown out. And on that side, that is my sock. And on this shoe, that is my sock, just a little bit of it in there. And that is not my sock yet, but it's going to be soon. So, I don't know, I have not had that happen on any of my ultras yet. But I've also never hiked through the White Mountains. And honestly, it could very well just be that the White Mountains just tore my shoes up. I mean, I was raking my feet everywhere and slipping and sliding and slamming into things and wedging them into crevices. And so, I don't know if this is kind of a symptom of the Ultra 5s, Lone Peak 5s, or if it's the whites or if it's a combination or whatever. The other thing is, weirdly, today, I've got all these little cuts on my finger. I don't know if this is focusing in well or not, but all these little cuts along this part right here. And I've got the same thing on the other index finger in almost the same place. I have no idea really what that could be. I've been kind of racking my brain today trying to think about, what I did different yesterday. The only thing I can think of is I had those wool gloves on and I had plastic bags over them. And I was holding on to the trekking poles all day with those. And I just don't know, if that could have anything to do with it. I mean, I don't know how wool, would somehow be slicing up my finger or anything. I just have no idea. But they're all there and they kind of hurt. So, I don't know. I'll have to kind of just keep an eye on them. The ones on my left hand seem like they're getting infected, but strange. There's a whole, probably 10 little cuts there, so something I did. Anyway, wine. I just crossed paths with some people that confirmed for me that yes, that was Wildcat A, Peak A, so that means I am heading down the Wildcats now. I'm done hitting the peaks. It was really nice today, actually. This has been a great day and so far, but I still have a lot to do. I've got the whole Carter, which actually I should have shown you, but you saw it in the previous little video when I was looking out from that view. Straight across was where the rocks were and where that pond was. That was like Carter Pond, and then the straight across from that was Carter Dome. And anyway, there's a few peaks over there, three peaks. One of them that is substantially higher than where I'm standing on Wildcat A. So I've still got a lot of stuff to do. In fact, probably pretty close to what I've already done. I need to do again, and it took me from 10:30 to 2, and I haven't even descended yet from there. So, you know, I don't know how long the descent's going to take. Even if it only takes a half hour, you know, that means it took me 4 hours to do this. If I get down from this area at 2:30, and sorry for my shoddy camera work, but this is really steep here. 4 hours from 2:30 is 6:30, and that's probably best case scenario. So anyway, I definitely won't be getting into camp early tonight, but I think it'll all be good. The weather's going to be good, so I won't worry too much about that. So after looking at my guide a little closer, which I should have done before I videoed from that vista, but going back to that vista as I pan down into the valley, into the notch, right? That's Carter Notch. And all those buildings down there, I believe, are the Carter Notch hut system. So just like the other huts that I've gone to, there will be a hut down there. Now, the AT does not run right alongside this hut like it does most of the other ones, but not all of them. It runs within about 500 feet, about a tenth of a mile. So I have no reason to stop there. As of now, anyway. If something changes, maybe I'll stop. But anyway, I won't even go by it. But I am heading kind of in a big V. I was like away from the. I was heading away from the notch and the hut, and now I've turned the corner and I'm heading back towards them. And I'll go right through the notch, right about where the huts were down there, and then up the other side. And that's where I'll start up the Carter Dome and hit those 3 or 4 different peaks up there, including that first mama of a peak that's up around 5,000 feet. So, first of all, there's supposed to be a spring somewhere down this side of the Wildcats. It shouldn't be very far, and I need that water. I drank a ton of water before I started climbing. And I only carried about 3/4 of a liter with me, and I have just about depleted that, and could have used probably just a tad more to keep myself really well hydrated, but I'm doing fine. So anyway, gotta hit this spring for sure and rehydrate and fill up. It's awesome. I don't know if you noticed in my video just a second ago, but the rocks on this side of the mountain are all dry and spaced well. And so it is allowing me to descend very quickly and safely. And as I say that, I think I have come across my spring. Yes, perfect. All right, time to fill up. Well, I got my water, and I haven't quite reached the notch yet, but I've been thinking, you know, that this should take me slightly less time. You know, I've just not heard a lot about the Carters. I haven't heard people say, like, you know, it's going to destroy you, like they've said about, you know, the presidentials and about all the rest of this. Oh, here we go. So, the AT goes this way. I'll go 2/10 of a mile, then I'll head off, and the Carter Notch hut will be 3/10 or another 10th after that. So, I'm almost ready to start climbing. But anyway, I haven't heard people say that. So, you know, maybe, very wishful thinking, maybe this is a more traditional hike, you know. Like, you still have to climb whatever it is, 2,000 or 3,000 feet, but you know, maybe it's more traditional than, you know, climbing up these boulders, and it's so technical and just takes so much time. So fingers crossed, maybe, you know, maybe I can make it a little bit faster than I made it up the Wildcats and get to camp, you know, a tad earlier. Have some time to work on my pack. There's a couple of things, if I remember later I'll mention them, but there's a couple things, minor probably, but anyway, that are not quite right with it, and I need to fix them before tomorrow. So it'd be nice to have a little extra time to do that. All right. Oh yeah, I'm hitting that pond down here that we saw from up above. I'll flip around and show you. Very cool. Wow, beautiful. Now somewhere, of course I'm going right into the sun, but somewhere right up there is where I was just at for the view. Maybe, well, I don't know, it was way up there anyway. So, alright. I gotta quit videoing and hike. This might be hard to see in the video, but Imp Shelter at the bottom, 7.2 miles. Here I come. So, this is not what the entire hike has looked like up the Carter Dome, but it's a very good representation. It's, you know, definitely an incline. Some of it even steeper than this. It goes on for a long time. Not a lot of switchbacks, so some of it's even fairly steep, but it's much, much more reasonable so far, and I would guess I'm probably halfway up it, than, you know, the beginning of the Wildcats and some of what we've done back through the White Mountains. So it's taxing, but everything's, you know, it's going much quicker. As you can tell, I'm sprinting through here, but it really is going much quicker and more enjoyable because I'm able to move along and see things, you know, at a regular pace as opposed to a dead snail's pace. And I'm enjoying it. And as I said that, the sun almost tried to come out there, but I was going to say the sun's been behind the clouds, and a combination of I've been hidden from the sun, and it's been nice and cool on this side of the mountain mostly. So, all right, keep trekking towards the top. It never ends. I have been climbing like this now for an hour. I really have no idea of how close I am to the top. I'm still glad though that this is a reasonable, you know, spacing of rocks and angle. I wonder how much oxygen there is on Earth, because I am rapidly turning it into carbon dioxide. It appears from the terrain and the way I've been leveling out, you know, since this is a dome, that maybe I've reached, well, maybe down there gets slightly higher, but this possibly is the peak of the dome, Carter Dome. It's at 4,832 feet. I'm gonna walk out here and see if maybe this is it instead. If so, then that means I go down a little ways and then climb again to the summit of Mount Height, and then I'll descend again and head for a while. It's a little distance away. Head towards Middle Carter Mountain, which is a peak, and then North Carter Mountain was also a peak. So I'll have to, you know, ascend and descend to get to all those places, and then I will descend a little bit to my campsite. Yes, this is the peak, because Rainbow Trail is supposed to head off at the peak of the mountain. So apparently there was some kind of structure here at one time. There's a base and some metal stuff around here. So anyway, Carter Moriah Trail, Imp Campsite, 6 miles away. Dang. I've been hiking a while. Seems like I should be a little closer. Let's see here. Some interesting old hardware from something or another. Oh, look at that. You know, there's one thing different about this entire Appalachian Trail adventure that I wish I could change somehow, but it just honestly is more work than I'm willing to put in. Is I wish when I got to these views I could at least see the stuff and know the stuff that I've done and that I'm gonna do, you know? Like, for all I know, you know, that's Baxter State Park, that's Katahdin in Maine. I mean, I'm sure it's not, it appears it's too close, it seems like, but regardless, it might be. So I wish I knew that. Now this looks like my kind of trail. At least for a short while. I get pretty bored if this is all I did for 2,200 miles, but it's nice right this minute. I'm guessing this is Mount Height, the peak here that I'm coming up to. And it's all but above tree line. I guess you would say this is above tree line. I mean, there's some trees, but it's anyway, whatever, it's close enough. Hardly any trees. Nice. That's back where I came from. Oh, there's some people up here, I didn't realize. Alright, I'm not hanging around long up here, so I'm just standing here trying to get a signal to send a text. Let everybody know I'm okay. And this bird just landed 3 feet away from me on top of this little tree. Oh my gosh, now it's about 2 feet away from me. I think I could reach out and grab him. How funny. All right, I am now on the last peak of Carter Mountain and ready to descend to camp. I'm hoping it'll only take me maybe an hour. It's about 5:15 already, so there's the start of my descent, if that's any idea what it's going to be like. Sheesh. Anyway, it was funny. Just a few minutes ago, I crossed paths with a guy who we were both on the middle peak of Carter, and we didn't know it. And he said to me, "Is this South Carter?" I said, "No, I think this is North Carter," because I wanted it to be North Carter, because that means I'm about ready to get down to camp. He wanted to be South Carter, because, I mean, he was going that way, and he wanted it. And I'm like, "No, because I just came from, you know, North Carter." And he says, "Well, I just came from South Carter," or vice versa, whatever, anyway. And anyway, then we realized we're both on the middle peak, and we both have a bit of a jaunt to get where we're going. So anyway, it was kind of humorous. All right, I'm getting there. I should be at the campsite sometime soon. I don't know, maybe within the half hour or something. I'm not sure, but man, that descent was ridiculous. Some of it was okay, but tons of it was just put down my poles and basically rock climb. Just get on all fours and, you know, shuffle my way down, one handhold and foothold at a time. Which once again is fun to do, but it's not when I'm trying to get somewhere on a hike, man. Wore me out too. So anyway, I'm really hoping, I found out this place is a shelter too, if I didn't already say that earlier, and I'm really hoping there aren't that many people here and there's a spot in the shelter so I can just get my pad and my sleeping bag out, eat something, and go to bed. not have to set up anything, worry about it being wet from last night or anything. Just be done. It's I think a little after 6:30 right now or something like that, and the bugs are going crazy, man. They have a lot of energy with the day off they had the last couple of days with all the cold. So anyway, I don't know what I'm saying, but I just need to get there and hopefully get in the shelter and go to bed. Probably won't say anything else tonight, so I'll catch you tomorrow. New adventures.